This is my recitation project in the form of what may be considered to be a YouTube style video. I decided to actually recite the poem in what I felt was an aesthetically appropriate location. I wanted something remote, a landscape that conveyed a sense of isolation. I wanted something beautiful but not lively enough to convey a sense of innate happiness. The sonnet is from Astrophil and Stella, and I wanted to also convey a lame melodramatic speaker or Astrophil. I should forewarn, I'm not an actor, and hopefully that'll check out because perhaps Astrophil should act badly and be uncomfortable to watch, which may be the case with this clip. Anyways, here is the recitation, and it will be followed by my analysis. O absent presence, Stella is not here. False flattering hope, that with so fair a face, bear me a hand, that is what's in place. Stella, I say my Stella, should appear. What sayest thou now? Where is that dainty cheer? Thou toldest mine eyes should help their famish case, but thou art gone, now that, self-felt, disgraced. Doth make me most to wish thy comfort near, but here I do store fair ladies meet, who may with charm conversation sweet make in my heavy mold new thoughts to grow. Sure they prevail as much with me as he that bade his friend, but then new made to be merry with me and not to think was woe. So, obviously, that was Sonnet 106 by Sir Philip Sidney in the sonnet sequence of Astrophil and Stella. And the first 8 lines of the sonnet, or the octave, seems to resemble, well, it does resemble perfectly that of an Italian sonnet, meaning A, B, B, A, B, B, A, which in a lot of the ways that people look at the English sonnets, they divide it into two quatrains, and I guess you could divide the octave into quatrains, but for the most part, the octave does follow the formula, and the very first 8 lines does seem to be um, about one central thing, and then after the 8th line, there is a very clear transition into the sestet, which, as far as rhyme goes, it breaks away from the most conventional sestets, which there's more conventional sestets than there's octaves in the Italian sonnets, but the rhyme scheme here, which is C, D, E, E, D, which is kind of odd and makes me think that the speaker is a little off and he's um, recovering, which, when some of the language in the poem kind of portrays that. In the 13th line, it says, that bade his friend, but then knew maimed to be merry with him and not think of his woe. And in the video, for the most part, in the recitation, the words lined up besides 3 words, and I apologize, and I actually thought about redoing it, but I thought, nah, I should keep the location. But that's off topic. But as far as the poem goes, I think it's the friend, like the words "bade" and "maimed" remind me of that of a warrior, and it's like, and this is 106, so this is the third last sonnet in the sequence, and this comes after he's sort of recovering from his love for Stella, and this is sort of after the pastoral mode in the sequence. Well, there's still a sense of naiveness here. Um, and one of the reasons why I picked this poem to recite is just there's a lot of contradiction here, and I want to say oxymoron, but I'm not sure this um, accurately fits a textbook definition of oxymoron. But the oxymoron is that Stella's was within his head. In the first 8 lines, the octave seems to be all about the battle in his head, which is, seems to be relevant because bait and maimed, and this is about him trying to battle over his love for Stella and to recover from that. At least that's the way I took it. Um, but I mean, even the first line, absent, present, is a contradiction there for one to be absent and also present at the same time. And those words are hard to uh, define without using one or the other. And deeper. And and it says, and he feels abandoned. Like it uses the phrase in the third line that in this orphan place. It's like he's an orphan, which of course, his lover is not his, or his the love interest or whatever is not his parent, but that's what he equates it to. And his eyes are famished, looking for something that he hasn't seen in so long, but at the same time she's so with him and so prevalent, and he wishes most of all things that she be near him, but of course not. And then in the after the transition, there's just a very clear transition from the eighth to the ninth line. Um, he basically talks about. I mean, he says, "And I do store for the fair ladies meet, their conversation sweet." And the rhymes are kind of lame. Maybe not lame, but maybe it wasn't the purpose. But it seemed to me like his rhymes were kind of awkward and just almost kind of crazy. Like he's under a lot of pressure, but he's recovering from, like, he's damaged. He's fighting a war. The very last line says, "Marry with him and not think of his woe." When that comes around for talking about, you know, the I guess the soldier who is injured, and he's like a soldier trying not to think of his woe, which is another contradiction because the whole poem is him talking about his woe, um, and it's just kind of funny to me because a lot of times we look at these old poems, we look at them like the attitudes like that of teenagers, and it seems like that here because he talks about other ladies like that's going to make him feel better about his situation, the conversations they had, which might not mean a thing to those people, but that's who knows. And there's one thing that is intriguing me. The last thing I think I'll mention, because I think that's all I wanted to talk about, is the 11th line says, "Make in my heavy mold new thoughts to grow," and I think that's interesting how that's suggesting that he's growing or he's becoming a better person or more of a person with this circumstance or situation, which kind of goes along with the Neoplatonic view of love as ascending and becoming, greater. Except for this, in this sense, he's becoming greater through the rejection. I guess the turmoil of being rejected by uh, Stella.